I want to take a minute and give you some advice on advice. Where do you get advice from? Have you ever been in a car and you're driving and someone says, oh, turn here, and you turn and it was bad advice, and now you're stuck driving in one direction out of the way for 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes, and you keep thinking, why did I take that person's advice? I'm going out of the way. In life, it's much the same. You can take bad advice, and guess what? When acted on, all of a sudden, you're going farther away from your goals, your dreams. You're just getting farther away from the basic path of life because you listen to someone's advice. And what makes bad advice worse? It's going to sound simple, but it's simply this: acting on it. Bad advice acted on is the worst advice. So when someone gives you bad advice, you need to be able to understand what is bad advice. Or better yet, find out, how do I find good advice? Well, Proverbs 15:22 says this: a multitude of counselors brings wisdom. So if you're looking for advice, the Bible says to look for a multitude of counselors. Ask a lot of people with diverse backgrounds who love God, who have experience, who are wise, and take a consensus of what they would do. Now, what that doesn't mean, and in today's world we confuse it, it doesn't mean you ask a lot of people until you find out what you want to hear. How many times have I seen people do that? They ask this pastor, they don't want to do that. So they ask another pastor, they don't want to do that. So they ask another friend, they don't want to do. And then when they find that one person who says, you know what you should do, and that's what they agree with, then they go, oh, I'm going to take his advice. That's not advice. In fact, that's bad advice. And if you act on it, it's going to be worse advice. So when you stop and ask yourself, how do I find the best advice? And in fact, what if I don't have a multitude of counselors? I still find there's one more thing you can do, and that's simply this. Stop and ask yourself, what would the best me do? A lot of times, I just stop and say, okay, God, what would the best Garth do in this situation? And I allow His Spirit to talk to me. Because the truth is most of the time, we know what we should do. We just lack the courage or the encouragement to do just that. So I allow His Spirit to encourage me. So you want some advice on advice? Don't take bad advice and act on it. It'll become the worst advice. And when you're looking for good advice, ask a lot of people. And when still in doubt, ask yourself, what would the best me do? Remember, you're only one piece of advice away from going in the perfect direction and or going in the opposite direction. Have a great day.